Welcome footy fans to another big edition of Between the Posts, and it is big because the great man is back. Big Tommy JAVOR, it's an absolute pleasure to have you back on the show, mate.
Mate, I had this date in the calendar, September 14th. I think a lot of people would know I had cancer, and I've lost a lot of body parts, but I'm back doing what I love, and I'm so grateful. And I want to thank John Douglas for the opportunity, and Darcy, the great man behind the camera.
Yep.
When I went into my last set, I was a pretty dark place in late August. He dropped me off the Charlesworth Mammoth show bag, so every time I did the really painful treatment, Katie and I dip into the bag, and he's a great man, and it is wonderful to be back. But that's enough about me, because it's been all about promotion and some surprise promotions, it's fair to say.
Yeah, a couple which we'll dive straight into into the show. But we've got Division 1 wrap, of course, coming up. Division 2, Tim Pillion's coming in to take you through that. And the Gossinator, one of your favourites, TJ, Jad Gossin, taking us through Division 7. And what else have we got coming up?
Of course, we've got the Coach of the Week, comes to us from your Division 5, mate. We've got What Caught Our Eye, the Marks and Goals of the Week, and of course we'll have the last word, thanks to Sapol. It's going to be a huge show where we'll preview the 7 grand finals. They don't get much bigger than that.
They do not. That was the intro. Thanks to 9 News. Stick around for more on Between the Posts. Alrighty footy fans, this is the BTR Excavations Division 1 preliminary final review. It was a mouth-watering contest on the weekend between Golden Grove and Ross Trevor. But before we dive straight into it, you're probably wondering, who is this person to my right? It's not Jad Gossin, it's not Lockie Gould, it is the father of the footy show, Tommy JAVOR. He is back, taking us through the last couple of weeks of the season, and it's an absolute pleasure to have the great man back in the building. I'll
tell you what, mate, the 20 years I've been doing this since I started grassroots all those years ago, and it's the first time I've been nervous. I've got anxiety. Obviously, I'm back without a bladder or a prostate or a lymph nodes, but I'm fighting, mate. I set my sights on this date, and I just love this league. I love, and you know, I've really enjoyed and really learnt to appreciate how important the stream is for what we do. When I was on the stream previous years, people would come up to me all the time. I was like, oh, thank you, I appreciate the compliment, but I really get it now. For those that can't get to games, it is a wonderful, wonderful thing. I'm going to get straight into the game, give some stats, mate. You were at the game, so then leading the stream team, doing beautiful things, I might add. Last bloke that I set up to lead the stream team's off working in Una Whoop Whoop as a journalist. So yes, development is key. No, I get a big shout out to Lockie Gould. Golden Grove 12-11-83, Ross Trevor 11-7-73. Goal kickers, Pascoe with 3, taking him to 95. Bamwell, Verity and Collins all with 2. That tough man Pilkington with 1, McKelvey and Tomney with 1. For the Rocks, they only had the 4 goal kickers. It was Wakeland, Tranfer and Boxer with 3. McCormack with 2. Take us through the match flow and how you saw it from being live at the ground, mate.
Yeah, it was an amazing game for the entirety. Golden Grove did lead from pretty much start to finish. Ross Trevor got it to within 4 points at about the 17-minute mark of the third quarter, but I'll just sort of go through the first quarter and the second quarter. And it was all Golden Grove, honestly. I'm not sure how it looked from home,
14
Tommy.
Scoring shots, including the out in the field, was 14 scoring shots to 2. And I was like, they've left the door open a bit. But yeah, to their credit, they held them off.
Yeah, the way Golden Grove moved the ball, they just torched Ross Trevor at times, didn't they? Every time they turned the ball over, the likes of Thatcher and Shenton, and there's a few other unsung heroes back there that I'm forgetting, but they just switched, counter-attack, transition footy.
On the fat side, on that wing.
On the fat side, yeah. There was a couple of players who were patrolling the wings for Golden Grove that had acres of space, which they utilised to good effect. But for just how good Golden Grove played, and I would say a bit how poorly Ross Trevor played, they turned the ball over a fair bit in that first half. 22 points was the margin at half-time, and they were still within striking distance.
They kicked the last 2 in the second quarter, didn't they? So the margins were 16 and 23 in the first quarter and first half. Back down to 11, nervous time starting, and I thought they could run over. And I mean, I was on the receiving end for Salisbury North. We were up by 37. The rain came. I was like, oh, we got them now. And they ran over the top of us by a point. So, but ultimately, Golden Grove did enough to hang on by 10 points.
Yeah, they did. In the third quarter, Ross Trevor, they adjusted their game style after half-time. They put away that slow chip mark game, which created a lot of turnovers for them in the first half. A bit more aggressively, but most importantly, they got some clean looks one-on-one looks to your man, Finn Wakeland, and Tommy McCormack as well. They both got on the scoreboard in that third quarter. And also in that quarter, they kicked 4 out of the first 5. So as you said...
Got within 4 or 5 points, I reckon?
Yeah, they did, 4 points. But then Golden Grove steadied, and I think that's a major highlight and a positive for the Kookaburras is that when they were extremely challenged in a big grudge match final, losing last week, a lot of pressure and expectation on them to respond. They did, and they kicked the next 2, and they got that breathing space into 3-quarter time, and they eventually saw the game out.
Yeah, no, they did well, and they killed the clock a little bit when they needed to in the last. When you look at the best players, when I did all my reporting was last night, Ross Trevor didn't have anything up. I had Tramp was unbelievable with 3 goals from the middle. Wakeland changed the game with his high marking. Probably could have had 5 on the day, maybe 6 as well. And I thought Best did a very good job on Pascoe. Anyone else from Ross Trevor stand out to you?
Yeah, just another one there probably is Ryan Lim. I think he's had an outstanding season. A lot of run and carry, hard running through the middle of the ground. And for
Shoot was pretty good as well, I thought.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, he was the last one. They chucked in the best players as well. And for the Kookaburras, Kane Horskin's got best on ground for them. He was one of those patrolling the outer wings. He was one of those that was running into those open paddocks and had a bit of poise with the footy as well. Your man, another one of your man. You've got a few in the Adelaide Footy League, I'll just say, Tommy. The Cav, how outstanding was his performance? Yeah,
no, he was very, very good. If he could, I mean, he's played league footy, so if he could clean up some of his disposals, I'd probably go back to Sample, but he's got a bit of lip on him too. I actually enjoy watching him play. Hate being an opponent of him, but yeah, very, very good. And when the game was hot early, he was crucial in that first quarter, wasn't he?
Yeah, he had the stack of the footy in that first half. It was very good to see. He spent a little bit of time on the bench actually in the third quarter, and we were wondering sort of what's the go there, and then start of the fourth quarter, bang, he was at the first centre bounce and he was impacting from the get-go. The half forwards for Golden Grove, they had to respond. They were a little bit down by their lofty standards. The likes of McKelvey, Banwell, Pilkington. Actually, all of the goal kickers, all of the half forwards got on the score sheet yesterday, Tommy, so that's a major positive for the Kookaburras going into a massive grand final, which we'll preview very, very shortly, I imagine.
And we certainly will. And it speaks to the evenness of how Golden Grove travelled, because in the best players were 2 players I thought were outstanding and that didn't appear, was Aidan Thatcher down back as the bookend, and Verity, whether he was on the wing, that front and centre crumbing goal, he was fantastic.
That front and centre crumbing goal was unbelievable.
Yeah, for a big man.
Should we get into the big game next week, Tommy?
Yeah, just quickly on Ross Trevor as well. Coming from Div 2, Bootsy's done a tremendous job, and again, you could have thought that they might have run over the top of them, but they gave too big a start to a quality opposition. But they deserve all the kudos for a great year, and they'll build and be probably even stronger next year. So. Yeah,
I thoroughly agree with that. Having covered a few of Ross Trevor's games late on in the season, they've been an absolute joy to go to. Personally, from a broadcasting point of view, they're great for us. They provide us with lots of info and things like that, and the standard of footy they play is exceptional. And for a team that doesn't have as much top-end talent, it's probably fair to say, as some of the other teams across the league, Tommy. They were outstanding, and to make a preliminary final, knock off 2 old collegiate rivals in some finals is a massive kudos to Damien Boots and the Ross Trevor outfit.
So congratulations to Golden Grove, and they move on to the main event of the year. It's Port District and Golden Grove at, I think I need to call it Cooper Stadium, but we'd know it as Nord Oval forever since Adam was at the parade. You can't go wrong. Get there early for a park. Are you heading up the stream team, mate?
Yes, yeah, I will be, yep.
I'm a spectator in the box in front of you, and I cannot wait. Just quickly, mate, before I get your thoughts, we'll have a look at the clashes this year. In round 4 at Largs, it was Port by Country Living Homes Arena. It was Port by 46 points. In round 13, Golden Grove showed they can at Harpers Field, won by 38 points. In what used to be called the second semi, now they just call it Week 2 of finals. Back at Port's home ground, it was Port by 16, 10-11 to 7-13. They kicked the first 6. Ferns was very dangerous, kicking 3. So the Gaffneys, all 3 Gaffneys in the best, along with Carpeny and Davo. What can you say about this matchup, mate?
I'm almost. It's very hard to articulate just how tight this is going to be. It's going to be hot in the cauldron from the absolute get-go. And I think just going back a couple of weeks ago, for how poorly Golden Grove played, there's a bit of positivity around them and a bit of excitement, I suppose, that if they can get their game going the way that we know and love, the way their style of play, there is certainly some room a lot of room for improvement, and they could definitely make a mark in the grand final this week.
Yeah, look, you know you're my favourite Banwell, but your brother's travelling all right. And he goes, you've been impartial in all your calls. I've listened to all your stream team stuff. But clearly on the inside, you want your brother to win a premiership. And you've remained impartial. So when we get to the end, when we tip, it's going to be very interesting to see what you say. I think Port have been the best team all year. I think they've got the best list. Over 1,200 games of SANFL or AFL experience. They're monsters. Let's look at some of the matchups, mate. And I'll just get a comment. Now, I don't know these are definitely going to be the matchups, but looking at what I've seen this year, Lysette versus sort of a combination of Robinson and Slater would be crucial in the middle of the ground.
Oh, it's where the game's going to be won and lost, I think. Stopping Lysette and then therefore stopping Sam Gray, I think, is a massive contributor to the game. And if Robinson and Slater can just nullify Scott Lysette's influence, second in the league for clearances. I'm not sure if you're aware there, TJ. He gets like 9 a game from the ruck, grabbing it out of the ruck. And
had 14 in last year's grand final as well.
Booting it forward. So he knows how to play the big games. Obviously, 2018 AFL Premiership player, big scooter.
Yeah, he's kicked 95 goals, Lockie Pascoe. I think Sean Davison will go to him. I could be wrong.
I think you are. Sorry to cut you off. I think you'll be bang on because that was the matchup 2 weeks ago in the second semi. And Davo, I think Pascoe got 2, maybe even 3.
I think 2.
But yeah, Davo was exceptional. A lot of the 50-50 balls that Pascoe was clunking all season, Davo was able to bring it to ground. And
former captain, so good leadership as well.
Yeah,
that matchup will be crucial. And let's talk about the elephant in the room. Pascoe needs 5. Is it a distraction? What happens if he kicks his 100th? How will Golden Grove play that out? I guess if you're 10 goals up, it's
party time.
Thoughts on that one?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Like, depending on the state of the game, as you said, if they're sort of down and they're chasing a bit of momentum and he gets the 5th, I don't think they would want a barrage of people onto the ground. That'd just be perfect for Port District to take the sting out of Golden Grove's momentum. But yeah, if they're in front or if it's a kick after the siren, Tommy, like goodness gracious me, the footy gods can only script something like that, I think. Look, I think it's not out of the realms of possibility, but I think this is going to be a low-scoring encounter.
That's where I was going with this. If Pascoe kicks 5, Golden Grove win. For mine, because
probably.
10 will probably win you this grand final on the parade. It's going to be congested. They're going to roll across in their huddles using just a quarter of the ground at a time, and they'll probably have both teams will have players set up behind the ball, so it'll be very tough. Someone probably sitting right directly in front of him. And one thing we know for sure is Coach Josh Ramsey knows how to coach a game of footy at the parade.
He does.
106-point turnaround from the second semi last year against Glenunga. So one other matchup, it's just the generic sort of midfield matchup. I haven't listed a bunch of players, but you got like the likes of Gray and Carpenter for Port in there against Pittman and Cavallaro, and obviously 3 or 4 others floating through there for each team. That midfield battle will be huge.
Just on I reckon you might be missing one name there, Mitch Gaffney. You can almost bet your bottom dollar that he will be lining up on Jake Pittman all afternoon. Did it in the second semi-final. And Pitty did, to his credit, have 27 touches, but had little to no influence on the game. I think we saw on the weekend that he probably got his 30-odd, but he was taking marks to the middle of the ground, getting forward momentum for the Kookaburra. So I think if you're Jake Pittman, look out for Mitch Gaffney once again.
and the gaffer, I actually decided last year best on ground. I gave it to Cooper Gaffney. I love him. He had 27 touches. But it was actually his brother Mitch who had, I think, 12 tackles and kicked 3 goals. A lot of people said you got the wrong Gaffney.
Yep.
Yeah, it's much of a muchness. I watched the tape back. But he's very dangerous in finals. So, mate, look, it comes down to one thing now. I'm going to go back to the pre-season show. I'm not sure if Darcy can roll us back. But I predicted in the pre-season Port would playing them in the grand final. Got half of it right, but I said my smoky was Golden Grove. So these two teams have done exactly what we thought they'd do this year. They've been powerhouses. Give us your tip, Margin and Norm Smith, or what do we call it? The best on ground medal.
Honestly, I haven't had a little time to think about this.
I just dropped it on you. I know. Sorry.
I'm going to tip with my heart. Obviously, brother does play in the Golden Grove ones. I want them to win. If Port District do get up, it'd be thoroughly deserved. But I'm going to go Golden Grove to win. It's going to be an absolute nail-biter. 8 points is what I'll say. Stuff it. I'll say 3 points. It's going to be under a kick. It's going to go down to the absolute wire, I reckon. And for the Norm Smith...
we are calling it the wrong name. I'm not sure if it has a name. The best on ground in the grand final.
Yep. I'm going to go someone outside the box a bit. Liam Verity. He's been in good form.
I think he's fantastic. His versatility, the Verity versatility, is huge. I'm going Port by 14 points and big Scooter Lysette to be best on ground. He stands out, and if he gives them first use, I think they win the game. This has been the BTR Excavations Division 1 report. I tell you right now, get on down to the parade on the weekend. If you can't get to the parade, this man, who's your co-host on the weekend?
It'll be great man Adam Jeffries and Jad Gosson on the boundary.
Oh, he loves it. He'll start the day clean-shaven Jad and have a beard by the end of it. And Adam Jeffries, the statistical saber-tooth, he is outstanding. Thanks for watching the Division 1 report. We'll be back next week with the grand final review.
Do you belong in a role that drives you? In a community that makes you proud? In a team that brings out your best? You belong in blue. Apply for a career with South Australia Police.
Tommy JAVOR here. It is Division 2 time. I'm joined by the expert Tim Pillion. Welcome, Tim.
Thanks, Tommy.
You doing okay, mate?
Doing well.
Okay, it would have been a tough day for you yesterday. It was Atherstone 13-12-90, Henley 10-9-69. My pre-season prediction of Tea Tree Gully versus Henley in the grand final with Atherstone and Smoky. I got it a bit the wrong way around, mate. You were at the game. Take us through how it played out.
Yeah, look, as disappointing as it is being a Henley person, the two best sides have made it through to the grand final.
Yeah, I think
Tommy.
that's fair.
There's no doubting that. Tea Tree Gully and Atherstone have finished 4 games clear of Henley in third place at the end of the minor round. That tells you something. And we've ended up playing Atherstone 3 times in the last 5 weeks, and they've beat us all 3 times. So the matchups yesterday show exactly
really
where
argue.
they are.
Yeah,
No, can't do it.
That's fair enough.
So, as you said, Atherstone 13-12, Henley 10-9, a margin of 21 points. There was only a goal in it at 3/4 time, Tommy.
Yeah.
But as the last 3 games, Atherstone have got away from us in the last quarter each time. So, best players for Atherstone yesterday, Liam Duffield, strong in defence. Mishai Wallagorang.
Easy for you to say.
Easy for me to say, but I watched him yesterday, played off a half-back flank. He was just unbelievable, his drive off the half-back flank yesterday. Daniel Clues, Connor O'Brien, Kane Newton were best for Atherstone. Their goal kickers, O'Brien kicked 3, Newton 2, Luke Rander chipped in with 2, and then 1 each to Barton, Grigg, Russell, Penner, Cluse and Lonigan shared it around there.
Tell me a little bit about Connor O'Brien, mate, not someone I'm familiar with.
Yeah, look, I know the 3 goals. I reckon he's a high half forward, plays a little bit on the ball as well. So it wasn't their regular forwards that did the damage yesterday.
Right.
It was the
cameos.
on-ballers, and it was all over the place. So, yeah. For Henley, our on-ballers, Bailey Chamberlain, Nick Karupas were very serviceable in there. Chris Schwartz, who's one of our key forwards, had to go back after a hamstring to our full-back in the second quarter. Will Blair, fantastic, versatile half-forward and wing. And Adam Carroll, back from a broken jaw, first game back after 6 weeks, 7 weeks, I think. Blair kicked 2, Neiman kicked 2, 1 to Hannigan, Buchner, Hawke, Tom and Jack Pillion 1 each, and Chamberlain. And again, our key forwards were held as they have been by Atherstone each time, which is where the difference has been. As I said, Tommy, 2 goals at half-time, 1 goal at 3/4 time. We were in the game, Henley, all the time, but Atherstone were just better at the key moments. Centre clearances, I think, were shared throughout the day. Atherstone got us in the last quarter, but the difference being that when they came out of the centre, they came with a fantastic kick forward and they hit a target. When Henley won the centre clearances, it was always under a bit of pressure and the kick went forward to a 50-50 contest. And there's the key moments and the big moments. Atherstone were better than Henley on the day.
Was it at the parade as well?
It was at the parade.
Yeah, so centre clearances are huge at the parade.
It was. I don't think the ground had any difference on the bearings of both sides. They both played the ground really, really well. The key was that here, in the last quarter, Atherstone kicked 3-4 to 1-1. In that 3-4, as you know, what's his name? Caleb Barton. He had 2 set shots early in the last quarter and missed them both. So the margin could have been a little bit better than that as well.
Tell me a little bit about Caleb Barton, for those that aren't familiar. I've seen some highlights of him kicking check sides from the boundary. I've seen him stand on people's heads, taking marks. Tell us a bit about him.
So highly skilled, great mover. He's got pace, he's got agility, and he's very good above his head. And then again, he's also good below his nose. He's one of those utilities that can just do anything, right? But what let him down yesterday was just a couple of those key shots. But he's a great team player. So he was running to positions and leading out in the openness of they have such a good forward line set up that anyone can kick the goals, and that's team presence. So, no, he was fantastic. I want to talk about where I think they won the game. They won the game from transitioning the ball from the back line straight through to the forward line, where they did that many times without us even touching the ball.
Yep.
It started with this Wollongong, Mishai. His run off the back line where he broke through the transition of the line,
Yep.
found someone on the wing, found someone short, found someone on half forward, found a leading forward, and they kicked a goal. And that's just basically where I saw their running two-way and their ability to lead and work hard got them through in the last quarter. So I think that'll be good.
Brilliant stuff there, mate. Commiserations to your mob. Still an outstanding first year in Division 2, finishing third. And yeah, I mean, we're going to get on to the grand final, but you may have lost to the Premiers. We'll find out, mate. What else you got for us? Some of the year statistics?
Oh, look, I just want to talk through the ladder tells the story for Division 2 this year. As I said, Tea Tree Gully and Athelstone finished 4 games clear of third place, and then Henley finished 4 games clear of 5th place.
Yeah, really bracketed, didn't it?
It was. There was the 2 teams at the top. There was Henley and Goody Saints, could have gone either way at 3rd and 4th. There was Flinders Park and Iggy's, who fought for the last game of the year to find out who was going to play in the finals.
So Flinders Park made the finals, did they?
They finished 5th.
But they didn't even have a positive win-loss ratio, did they? They less than 9 games won? I think they won about 8 games.
I think you're right there, without knowing off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But again, they had to play Goody Saints in the last minor round game for them to make it, right? And they only got through because Iggy's lost as well. So basically, then it came down to Brighton and Modbury at 8th and 9th, and 7th and 8th, and then Adelaide Uni and Lockleys were games away, finishing at the bottom of the table to be relegated this year. So I think Division 2 this year did have segments in it. There wasn't many upsets. There was a couple, but there wasn't many upsets where you see in other grades. And therefore the 2 best sides, in my opinion, have gone up, and the 2 that need a bit of work have gone back down to Div 3, and we'll see how they bounce back.
Right, that's fair enough, mate. Are we going to move on to the grand final?
Yeah.
Let me talk it up. It's 2:30 p.m. It's Tea Tree Gully versus Athelstone. It's at what they call now Hisense Arena. You might have known it as Richmond Oval, or the home of the West Adelaide Football Club, or the location where Tommy JAVOR kicked a couple of goals and made the All-Australian under-18 Gaelic football team. Neither here nor there. I had to get something in. I'm sitting with Jack Banwell all day. How many stats does he give of himself? But anyway, we carry on. Just quickly, mate, I'll go through a couple of stats. Round 3, it was Raggies by 16 points over Tea Tree Gully. In round 12, it was Tea Tree Gully by 10 points at Max Amber over the Raggies in the second semi. It was close. It was Tea Tree Gully by 6 points. How do you see the day unfolding, and what do you got for us there?
And that's exactly how I see it. This is a throw up, right? This is a toss of the coin.
Toughest grand final to pick of the 7, in my opinion.
Oh, no doubt. And I'm still sitting here on the fence myself. So I've only seen Tea Tree Gully once this year. The one time I went away on a holiday, I missed that game. But I've seen Athelstone 4 times, right? So there's a little bit of a bias there in what I can tell you about one the other. Does Hisense Stadium, Richmond Oval suit one team or the other, is the first comment.
Well, I think both Tea Tree, well, I know, both Tea Tree Gully and Athelstone are big ovals. West Adelaide also a big oval, so I'm not sure it favours anyone, does it?
That's probably my first call. Then it comes down to the weather. Will it be a sunny, dry day? Will it be a raining, wet day? We don't know 7 days out.
Well, Keith Conlon, we'll just a special word from Keith. Saturday's forecast at this stage, and the bomb has got it wrong once or twice in their existence. It's 15 degrees, it's 1 to 10 mils. Now that's a pretty big variance, 1 to 10 mils. If it's 10 mils, the smalls of Tea Tree Gully become very, very dangerous. I'm talking about Persinos and Latham. So weather might play a part.
So all along this year, I've had a small leaning towards Athelstone having an overall better balanced side. So their strength in the back line yesterday held our key forwards. But when they go forward, they've got options, which I really, really like, and tall options at one stage. Tea Tree Gully moved the ball so well with their pace and their smalls. But I was making that decision only a couple of weeks ago without Blake Penny in the side, because I heard and realised he had a knee injury, but he's back, right? And he's now 4 games in, and he's heading into another week off. He'll be 5 games in, and I think he could be a big difference.
So it's Penny versus Wood, is it, in the ruck?
So Jack Wood was fantastic yesterday for Athelstone, and I see that as being a really big jewel with the on-ballers getting first hand around the ground as well. My point is this, Tommy, the way I've determined how I think the difference will be is Tea Tree Gully have the strongest defence, as evidenced by the premiership table at the end of the year. They only let through 882 points in 19 games for the season. Wow. So that's number 1 in defence, right?
It's about 8 goals.
But Athelstone have got number 1 attack, number one forward, and they're 1,920. That's 40 goals more than Teatree Gully kicked for the year. And Teatree Gully have stopped 26 goals more than Athelson have let through.
Yep.
I hope that makes sense.
Yeah,
so I'm
yeah,
looking at probably the difference being the best attack against the best defence. I think there's your game. If one gets on top of the other, one wins the other, one kicks, one stops them, that's where the game can be won. And I'm just going to say there's an even spread across the ground in all other areas. Just the goal kickers, Caleb Barton 62, Luke Rander 52, Jed Russell 45.
Yep.
They have 3 of the top 5 goal kickers through the whole competition for the year.
Yep. And then in 12th, there's a gentleman by the name of Mitch Grigg with 32 goals. Now, I haven't seen Division 2 this year. I'm not going to pretend I have. You would have seen Mitch on the weekend. How is he travelling? Is he still the same footballer he was a few years ago? Or
I talked about key moments, where they were better than us in key moments. Mitch Grigg is simple for that. As we go forward, he just runs into the back line, puts himself, jumps in the hole, and all of a sudden, guess who pops up and takes the ball, and then clears the ball out with his left leg, hits the target every time, and that's when that transition off halfback starts, because he's always passing the ball to someone that gets it on.
And that Sandford Grand Final experience is going to hold him and his team in good stead, I would think.
Yeah, you can throw in Jesse Lonigan there too, if you like. So, but then you hit to Teatree Gully. They've got Brodie Latham, who I think is the key, sitting in 7th place with 41 goals, and Peter Pacinos.
He actually won the Division 1 goal kicking last year and made team of the year, Brodie Latham. Good footballer.
Well, I've got a little asterisk against his name, because I think if there's one player that can make a difference, I'm not going down the path of a Grigg or a Lonigan or a Caleb Barton. I'm thinking Brodie Latham's the key. Yep. If Athelson can hold him to not be influential with one kicking goals himself and providing goals, I can see that being a big part of one way going the other. So for me, by the smallest of margins, and only knowing it was 6 points last game where Teatree Gully got up, I'm just going to lean towards Athelson causing an upset. I think it is called an upset in the grand final.
Yeah, for me, it comes down to, and I'm not sure if he's playing, he's only played 8 games this year, kicked 15 goals, Luke Brown. Luke Brown, when he got injured in the prelim a couple of years ago in Div 1, Teatree Gully went from leading to losing by 80 odd points. He's a massive, massive important piece of this jigsaw. As I said, Tim, and I wouldn't actually have a genuine clue, it's a bit of guesswork. It's the toughest grand final of the 7 to pick. Again, I just feel like Athelston have got their run at the right time, and like you, and Teatree Gully won't like this, like you, I feel like maybe, and I guess it's a bit of an upset, they might just find a way.
Last point, does the week off. So Teatree Gully, the week off heading into the second semi-final, week off heading into the grand final. Does that cause any sort of advantage to Teatree Gully, or does Athelson playing through with that role, does that help them? Yeah,
time will tell. I guess it's, you have a look at the teams named. If a player gets up because he's had that extra time to rest, then it does help. Otherwise, no. I've never been a huge buy into that. You ideally just want to get there as soon as you can. That's part of it. So it's going to be a great game.
It will be. And like I said, 2 best sides are in the grand final. I think it's going to go either way. I'm leaning slightly towards Athelson, and I'll absolutely look forward to seeing the results and watching the game next week.
Fantastic. Tim, you've been outstanding this year. You won't be back for the grand final review next week, but I'll touch on some Div 2 stuff. It's again one of the more exciting grand finals across all divisions. Thank you very much for everything you've done this year, mate. You've been wonderful.
Welcome back.
It's great to be back myself. I've loved it, and I just love doing this with experts like Tim who know their football. Thanks for joining us for the Div 2 report. We're back with more next week on Between the Posts.
This one's for the coaches out there. It is your Farmers Leap Coach of the Week, and this week we're heading to Division 5 and the Pulteney Old Scholars Football Club and their player coach, Darcy Boynton. Darcy is the beneficiary of strong groundwork laid by those before him when the club was on the brink of folding, but in 2025 they climbed to 4th on the ladder, winning 9 out of their last 11, and they have booked their place in the big dance of Division 5, taking on Marion this weekend after winning 3 sensational finals. It would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge the strong coaching group behind him that allow him to be a player coach. I'm sure the bottles of wine, thanks to Farmers Leap, will be shared amongst all. Pulteney are the only club across the men's side of the Adelaide Footy League to make the grand final from outside the double chance placing. So a massive kudos to Pulteney and Darcy. As a playing coach, this man is a Rolls Royce through the middle of the ground. Also, the return of Joel Aish, who's kicked 32 goals in 6 games, and their star big man, Nick Worrell, finding a purple patch, has this team humming and poised to cause a huge upset in the grand final against Marion this weekend. But no matter the result this upcoming week, it's been a sensational year for Darcy and Pulteney, earning promotion to Division 4. And that is why, Darcy Boynton, you are our Farmers Leap Coach of the Week.
Welcome back to Between the Post. I'm here with Division 7 expert, the Gossinator, Jad Gossin, and it's been a very interesting year in Division 7.
Yeah, it has certainly been an interesting year. We've had one dominant team and then the rest just trying to catch up to that, and yeah, we'll go into more detail about that, but yeah.
Let's start with yesterday's prelim though, can we?
Yeah.
Of course, you're off boundary roll. It's your boundary riding the stream team. You're doing plenty. Of course, you shaved this morning already, and have a look at that. You're a hairy man, hairy Gary. But it was Central United, interestingly enough, 10-7 throughout the season. 15-15-105. Brahma Lodge 7-5-47. They were 11-6 throughout the season. Maybe, I guess, perhaps a little bit of an upset, but Central United coming good at the right time of the year. Your thoughts on yesterday's prelim?
Yeah, for sure. Because of as well how the league is structured, they've actually already versed each other 4 times. So they know each other pretty well.
Yep.
Brahma Lodge actually won all the home and away games, and then coming into the finals, Central United beat them in the qualifying, and then now again in the prelim by 58 points. So they've come good at the right time, Central United, and finally been able to get the job done over Brahma Lodge.
Yeah, no, and look, they're too good in the end. You can't argue with a margin of nearly 10 goals. And I think you're going to take us through how we got to where we are.
Yeah, for sure. So the final started with Brahma Lodge versus Central United, as I mentioned, and Central United winning that one by 34 points in the qualifying final. The other one was the elimination final between Hackham and Mitchell Park. Hackham winning that one by 29. That meant, of course, Elizabeth had the week off. Once they played, they beat Central United, destroying Central United by 161 points. So that's going to be a big talking point going into the grand final.
Yeah.
And then the other one was Brahma Lodge beating Hackham by just 11 points, and that set up the prelim from yesterday.
Yep. Is it time for us to look at the grand final?
Yes, why not?
All right.
Yeah.
So it is Elizabeth, 17-0 in the regular season with the best percentage in the league of 81%, taking on Central United, who are 10-7. It's at the Ponderosa, which is known officially as Ex-Convenience Stadium, or you'd call it Elizabeth Oval back in the day, home of Central District Bulldogs. It's the biggest ground in the league. Maybe some of that will help Central United. I'm looking for reasons, mate. 161 points, they need to turn it around. So in round 7, it was, and there's form here, as you said, they played each other 4 times. Yep. Elizabeth by 101 the first time, by 84 in round 14, by 58 in round 16, then by 161 when the whips are cracking in the second semi, mate. Give us your grand final preview.
Yeah, so an average of 101 points there for Elizabeth winning over Central United this season, including the massive one in the semi-finals you mentioned. The preview for the grand final, of course, Elizabeth are heavy favourites. They've been undefeated all year. There's a reason they're going to be favourites for this grand final, as well as the past matchups. But looking for anything for Central United to maybe take a bit of a case study from last year.
Kick straight, get some score on the board early, and hope for some magic. And history is on your side.
Yeah, I was just looking back. So I remembered last year I actually commentated the Division 6 grand final. It was Eastern Park who beat the undefeated Salisbury on grand final day. It was a big shock to everyone. Salisbury going in having not lost any single game except
19-0 they were.
Yeah, except lost in that grand final. So they probably obviously weren't as dominant as we've seen Elizabeth this year. But that's something for them to go back and look at. Elizabeth Park did the haka before the match. Maybe they could take some inspiration from that.
Yeah.
And the other interesting thing is it was actually on Ex-Convenience Oval, that match. Yep. So could history repeat itself and a massive upset occur 2 years in a row? It's a big ask, but
Yeah, and the scoring tends to be a bit lower when you bring community clubs onto Elizabeth Oval.
Yep.
I know a couple of years before that was Golden Grove beating Payneham in a Div 2. It's probably going back 2-3 years, and it was 9-1. Wow. It's a huge ground. Hey mate, I'm going to have a look at just some of the key goal scorers. I've been lucky enough to coach 5 of the guys playing in this game, and I wish them all the very best. So Stephen James kicked 77 for Elizabeth. Geordie Campbell, who before the season started I predicted would win the goal kicking. He needs to kick 18 in the last game of the year. You never know. Brodie Farrow, I think it's pronounced, 29, and Braden Owen for Elizabeth, 27. Potency suggesting, I mean, you've talked about it all year, they were really strong. Yep. Century United, Tyson Hugo Davies, who actually coached last year at Virginia, Jaden England, Caden Sylvie, and Jai Sadal. Just the firepower of Elizabeth. If one doesn't get you, it looks like the other one will.
Yeah, exactly. Elizabeth have been kicking goals for fun, and their defence has held up well as well. And on the bigger oval, might, as you said, might slow their scoring, but also they might have more space. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Elizabeth can go, and they'll probably get the victory, you imagine, but Central United come from third. They're into the promoted position, so good effort for them all around. Hopefully they can have a bit of a closer game than the semi-final. But
yeah, you hope so for the fans. Yeah. Like I said, if they kick straight early and put some scoreboard pressure on, it would put Elizabeth into the deep waters they haven't been in this year. They haven't actually had to struggle at any point, really. Just having a look at some of the better players for Elizabeth, Braden Owen 7 times in the best, Brandon Ewing 7, Curtis Shaw 6, but a young fellow by the name of Jai Bunker, I say young, he'd be 19, 20 now. As a 16, 17-year-old, he was playing A-grade at Anglevale. I coached him, he was a Central District junior, a super footballer, too good for Div 7, and he knows a lot about, he's played a lot of his footy on ex-convenience. He will tear it up on the weekend, and they need to find a way to stop it. Looking at Central United, Steve Burns, 13 times in the best players, has been outstanding this season. Todd Barron, Saxon Eels, and another one of my young fellas, Hudson Clues, 7 times in the best. I notice he hasn't kicked any, he used to be a forward, hasn't kicked any goals, so he might be patrolling that sort of half back line. Hudson Clues, a very good footballer, Jack Vaness in there as well. Look, you hope for the fans' sake and for Central United's sake they can find a way to get closer, but I think this is very much a case, Jad, of you and me trying to put lipstick on a pig here. Elizabeth are not a Div 7 team with the team they've brought together. They're probably a Div 5, Div 6 team, and they're probably going to win pretty comfortably. Yeah,
you'd imagine so, and it's going to be intriguing to see how they go in Division 6, if they can stay up and not...
something they've traditionally done that well. When they go up, they can come back down.
Keep some of their players, keep a bit of the structure and consistency, and see how they go in Division 6, which I'm sure we'll be covering. But yeah, the grand final, 2:30 p.m. On Saturday, Elizabeth vs Central United. It's going to be live streamed as well, so if you can't make it to the ground, please go out and watch and support the boys, because it looks like Elizabeth to lose, but you never know on grand final day.
And you're with the stream team on, yes, so you won't be commentating it.
No.
Again, we hope for a game. Of course, these two teams couldn't be much closer to Central District's Oval. It really is a local derby. Yeah. Central United just on Hogarth Road there, and Elizabeth on Main North Road. My first senior A-grade game was against Elizabeth. I still have a scar to prove it. So that was in Div 3. So they were previously a Div 3 club, a really well-run club, and I've liked the way they have curtailed over celebrating this year, and they put a few things on their Facebook when they won games by a couple of 100 points. We remember we were on the receiving of this, let's stay humble. Mm-hmm. I've really shown a lot of respect, and I really well done to the Eagles 2025 premiers.
Yeah.
I'm calling it.
It's safe to say that, Of course I'll be predicting that as well.
Yep. Anything else for us, mate?
No, that's all. Just a good division to preview all year. It's been a pleasure, and we'll see what happens on grand final day. But Elizabeth are going in heavy favourites, but I'm going to be curious and checking the scores all game.
Yeah, and we're not trying to be facetious here, but the game starts 0-0, Central United, so get a good start, and you never know what might happen on the big, wide expanses of the Ponderosa. This has been Jad Gosson, who's been outstanding. I think, are you joining us again next week for the review?
I believe so, yeah. I'm not.
There is free food, free luncheon afterwards, mate. So
I'll be there for that. Yeah. I don't know about the show.
Oh, beautiful. All right, and of course, Jad is sponsored by Mac 3. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for joining us on Between the Posts for the Division 7 report. It's that time. It's one of my favourite segments. It's Jad, it's Jack, and it's Javalinko. It's time for What Caught Our Eye. Yeah, that's right. Boys, great chance to give some attention to all the divisions here. So we're going to have a quick look at the prelim and then preview the grand final super quick though, obviously. So we'll start in 7, and it was Century United, 58-point winners over Brahma Lodge, winning themselves to a grand final appearance at the Ponderosa against Elizabeth. They've played 4 times. Elizabeth have brained them 4 times. I can't see anything but Elizabeth win, but we'll get the tips at the end. What caught your eye in Div 7, mate?
Yeah, for me, it was Central United making the grand final from 3rd position, Brahma Lodge in 2nd, miss out.
Yep.
In that game, Brahma Lodge kicked the first goal of the last quarter to make things a little bit interesting, and then Units charged into the GF, kicking the last 6. Yeah,
and getting the job done just beautifully. We've got one that caught Darcy's eye as well. I love this stat. Before I get to do the tips, boys. Points, this is referring to Elizabeth. Points conceded for the year, Jad, and you're the expert, you probably know, 573.
Yeah, crazy.
Points conceded in round 4 last year against Fitzroy, 516. So they've nearly conceded as many points in 17 games as they have in one game. So that is a crazy, crazy stat. I won't stuff around too much of this one. My tip is Elizabeth by plenty.
Yeah, Elizabeth.
Century United. Nah, the Eagles. The Eagles. They should be too good.
He was having a seizure there. All right, let's have a look at the next one. It was close all day. It was Ingle Farm 6-15-51, St Paul's 8-14-62. These guys are neighbours. They're only a couple of k's apart. It was Ned Buckerfield who was the star for St Paul's, which sees them head to the grand final against Fitzroy at Campbelltown Oval. These teams have met twice this year. It was the Lions by 58 points in round 4. In round 13, it was St Paul's by 5 points. Interesting to note, St Paul's in their last 8 games have only lost 1 game, and that was to Ingle Farm. Boys, what caught your eye?
Yeah, in that prelim, it was goal kicking that was the issue for me. Ingle Farm kicking 6 goals, 15 behinds, and St Paul's kicking 8 goals and 14 behinds.
Yeah, further to that, neither team wanted to win in the second half, was my observation. St Paul's kicked 3-11 and Ingle Farm kicked 3 goals 8, and that was why St Paul's were able to hang on.
Yeah, it's an interesting one for me, boys. My heart's a bit torn here. When I was zone development leader of the North Adelaide zone, these are both North Adelaide-based clubs, but I went to St Paul's. I want to give a big shout out to Peter Pudney as well, who during my illness has been a great support for me and my kids, helping us out with some childcare. You're a great man. But unfortunately, sorry, Pete, Big Pistol, the ruckman, I'm tipping Fitzroy.
Saying that, Fitzroy, yeah, same with me. I'll go Fitzroy. They've been probably the standard in Div 6 all year, and they were the first in the grand final.
Yep.
St Paul's, I think they can cause an upset, and I've got a mate out at St Paul's as well, so hopefully they can get up.
Oh, he's got a footy friend.
Yes.
That's nice. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. Hopefully it's a close game. It's been a pretty competitive division, Division 6. Let's move on to Division 5I, and I'm calling it upset. It was Pulteney 14-9-93, Greenacres 3-15. That's gross. 33, 60-point win to a team that's made the grand final who are 9-9. Best for Pulteney was Trent Mike Lowry and Joel Aish kick 6. The loss of Stephen Clark has clearly hurt Greenacres and derailed their run. But let's move forward and look at the grand final. It's 17-1 Marion, who've taken all before them, taking on 9-9 Pulteney at Blair Athol Reserve, otherwise known as the home of the Kilburn Chicks. They've met twice this year. It was Marion by 9-64. What caught your eye, gentlemen?
Yeah, it was that Pulteney coming into the grand final, getting promoted from 4th position. That's a great effort for them, and as you mentioned, I noticed the record as well, and even 9-9 record and making a grand final, getting promoted to 4. It's a good effort for them.
Huge effort.
Yeah, they won 9 out of their last 11, Pulteney, and this division is the only division where a team outside of the double chance placings has reached the grand final. So sensational job from Darcy Boynton, and he is our coach of the week as well.
Yeah, so they really had a poor start to the season, Pulteney.
Yeah, had some injuries, a little bit of other things like that going on, and then troops have come back at the right time with some continuity coming into finals as well. So they're hitting their straps at the right time.
Winning form is good form. Can we see the upset of the season on grand final day? In my opinion, no. Marion Rams for me.
Yeah, Marion, they've been too good. They've only lost the 1 match, but they only lost by 9 earlier in the year, so it could be a close one.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tight one, but I think Marion will be too good as well.
All in agreement, and I think that's the way it's going to stay until we get to the top end. These lower divisions kind of They are what they are.
But a shout out to Pulteney, and in particular, Brodie Doolan. He's the #1 Adelaide Footy League fan, and he's the Pulteney Highlights Package Coordinator. Thanks for all your marks and goals of the week that you're sending in to our producer Darcy. We absolutely love the involvement that all the fans across the league bring to the show and to all the segments that we put out there.
This doesn't mean he's won the high five e-bike, does it?
Oh, potentially, yeah. If he's filled out the form, yeah.
Yeah, fill out your form. All right, Division 4, and it was a come-from-behind thriller. My beloved old Walkie Cats, and we've all got a soft spot for the clubs here. I mean, obviously you're Modbury and you're Golden Grove Premiership player, mate.
And Salisbury.
And okay, thank you. He doesn't miss a chance to get one in, does he, baby John Goodman? Walkerville 9-9-63 came from the clouds. Morphy 6-11-47. They trailed all day, but in the second half, 8-4 to 1-3 to get the chocolates. Well done to the Cats, which sends them to the grand final. It's Plimpton versus Walkerville at Morn Team Hyundai Oval Kia, lots of other car names in there too. Otherwise formerly known as the home of the Peckers, Woodville, or the Eagles, the Sample Club as they stand now. You'll find it. In round 3, it was the Cats by 8. In round 12, it was Plimpton by 67. Plimpton 16-2, a great away record. They've managed to curtail their finals whoopsies that they had over the last couple of years. So it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out. What caught your eye, mate?
Yeah, for me it was just simple. Walkerville making it out of Division 4. They've been there for a while, and to get out is a great effort from them. And yeah, everyone will be happy down there.
Did win a flag during a COVID year, but they didn't push the upsy downsies. So yeah, so well done to Sean Frothy's Kirshner and the boys.
Brad Beswick, BOG for the Cats, had a chat with him earlier in the year. Great bloke, won the BNF in his first year at the Cats last year. And Archer Schwartz as well, young key forward, kicked a bag of 3, which separated the game.
Well done. So the only thing left in Division 4, what caught our eyes, to give you a tip for the grand final, and you can put this one in the bank. And I think I called this one pre-season. I'm taking Plimpton.
Me too, Plimpton.
Yeah, Plimpton should be far too good, I think.
Yeah, the Red Dogs probably just edging out the Cats, but hopefully it'll be a very good game. All right, let's move on to Division 3, and it was only Mercedes Jets 9-10-124, defeating Pembroke 9-12-66. Hugh Hazeman best on ground, but she was all over at quarter time. 9 goals 2 to 1 goal 1 has only Mercedes feeling very confident and buoyant in their chances against Westminster in the grand final at Payneham Oval this weekend. Meetings this year, round 3, Westminster by 1, and round 12, Westminster by 30, and in the second semi, Westminster by 37. What caught your eye, gentlemen?
Yeah, for me it was only Mercedes Jets, not relying on Jake Sutcliffe. They had a real spread of goal kickers. Pradden with 4 goals, Hugh Hazeman with 3, Fergus Kemp with 3, and Sutcliffe himself got 3 as well. He's always getting the goals, but yeah, great spread of goal kickers there.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, great minds think alike, Jad. I had the even spread of goal kickers too in that one.
Yeah, so maybe this might be one of the divisions where we could entertain different tips. For me, Westminster 16-2 in season, but they've got 2 players who've won sample premierships. I speak, of course, of Andrew Bradley and Christian Rookie. Braddles as well, 2023, led PAC to an upset win over Glenunga. Still a fantastic footballer, doesn't get flustered, and I think their leadership will be enough to get Westminster over the line.
Yeah, this one was a bit of a tricky one for me. I'll go with Westminster. They beat them in the finals already, and that kind of made my mind up, but I think it's going to be close.
Don't sleep on the Jets in this one, I reckon, fellas. They've got Hugh Hazeman, premiership player with West Adelaide from a few years ago. Mitch Duval as well. He's an ex-league footballer for West Adelaide. And I think the Dragons could finally be slayed in 2025.
Nice little double entendre there from the Wizard. That's why we call him the Wizard. Well, that and another reason. Anyway, so you're tipping only Mercedes?
I'm going to tip only Mercedes in the first upset of the year.
Yeah. First one we've differed. For me, this next one, well, I'll go over the prelim first. It was Atherstone 13-12-90, Henley 10-9-69. Make sure you check out the Div 2 report with Tim Pillion. He gives a really extensive look into this game. It was a goal of difference at 3/4 time, but in the end, Liam Duffield was the star for Atherstone and Connor O'Brien kicked 3, which sets up probably the best 2, or they are the best 2 teams of the year. It's Tea Tree Gully and Atherstone at High Sense Arena, otherwise previously known as Richmond Oval, the home of the West Adelaide Bloods. Should be a really, really good game. Bit sandy in the middle. You boys were there on the weekend.
Yep.
Just ground conditions on that one. Sandy in the middle, but across the rest of the ground okay? Or
Yeah, I think Jack described it as a bit of a horse paddock in the middle. It was a bit of a running track for them there in the sand, and it gets stuck in there a bit, and the turning circle of the players gets a bit affected. So yeah, a bit of sand in the middle, and also the forward line a bit. The forward 50 had a bit of sand.
Yeah, interesting as well. Up to 10 mils of rain forecast for this GF. So does that sand bog up and really slow the game up? Previous meetings, it was the Raggies by 16 points at Tea Tree Gully. Then in round 12, it was Tea Tree Gully by 10 points at Max Amber. In the second semi, it was Tea Tree Gully by 6 points. What caught your eye, mate?
Yeah, what caught my eye was the fact that they had a lot of close matches throughout the season, and I'm looking forward to this grand final. It's going to be very, very fascinating.
The Gullies, just one season, Division 2. They're back up into the top flight where they belong. And for the Raggies, another appearance into the top flight. So congratulations to both teams. 3-1 in the final quarter for the Raggies. Saw them run out 29-point winners. So great result for them. And on the neutral ground factor, that rain that does make it really interesting. The games that they've had this year been low scoring. So with that rain, even though it's a big deck, at West Adelaide, I think it will be a low-scoring blockbuster. And my tip, I know you're going to ask, I'm going to go Tea Tree Gully, I reckon.
I'll go Tea Tree Gully as well. I think they've been the better team.
Well, having done the Div 2 report, absolutely no certainty. I'm going to take the Raggies, Mitch Grigg, Crucial, Caleb Barton. Both teams littered with stars. If it rains, Latham and Personos maybe become real X factors, but I'll take the Raggies in what I think might be the closest game of the day. All right, and last but certainly not least, don't forget to check out the Division 1 report, but it was Golden Grove by 10 points against Port. So we look now at the main event of the season. We've got these two guys, Boundary Rider heading up the Stream team, 2:30 p.m, Port versus Golden Grove at Norwood. I'll be sitting in the box in front of them, just sitting back and enjoying what will be an absolute cracker of a game. There is an opening for Golden Grove. They did beat them in round 13 by 38 at home. Both times they played at Port District's home ground. They got done. Going to be a huge game. What caught your eye in Division 1?
Yeah, Lockie Pascoe, 95 goals. Can he get the ton on grand final day? Would be a huge occasion to do it.
And questions without notice. Will he get the ton? I say no, because I think it'll be a low-scoring game.
Yeah, Port District's defence and the way they play, they congest all the play there. It's going to be tricky for Pascoe, but you never know. Magic of grand final day. He just needs 5, and if they get a few early, it could be on.
99, but the Kookaburras win.
Wow. Well, imagine all night once you've had a couple of Kieran Hayakets, you'll be sucked in, Paz. Brilliantly done there. And the last thing that caught my eye was baby John Goodman. He drops bombs. Now, he has dropped a big bomb for us this morning. He's named in Division 1 a 2026 coach, which hasn't been announced yet. Do you boys want to hear this one?
Sure.
So the Glenunga coach for 2026, this is from baby John Goodman. We have checked some sources.
Yep.
Nathan Grimer.
He's back.
He is back. And
he's loading up too, I hear. That's the whisper I've got.
I may have spoken to him, and excitement in the air. Look for the Rams to make a bit of an ascension. The experiment didn't work this year, and that's fine. But you can't take that. He's got the itch back, and I think, congratulations to Glenunga and Nathan. I think they'll do good things next year. Boys, this has been what caught our eye. Obviously, we know you're both at Division 1. Good luck to all grand final teams. It is the best day of the year for a footballer. Get excited, have some fun, and if you get a chance to hold up the Premiership Cup, good luck to you.
Tommy, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't believe you two tipped in the Division 1 grand final.
No, I didn't do a tip.
Oh, I'm so sorry. None of us tipped, did we?
Did.
We'll go this way.
Kookaburras.
Oh, that was real.
That was real, yeah.
99
and the Kookaburras win. That's real. That is real.
All right, I'll go for Port District. They've just been the professional team, and they have experience in the Premiership, the Div 1 Premiership has to take. So I'll go for them.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jad. I think Port District, they play the ground well, as I saw last year, and they're just brilliant. And also, quickly, Jason Niskahus, happy birthday. It's his birthday today. I think he might be the vice captain.
Great bloke. Vice captain.
Yeah, ripper bloke, good banter. So that has been what caught our eye this time. Sorry I went a bit early, boys. And we'll be back next week with, grand final reviews of every division in what caught our eye. It's time for the Adelaide Footy League Team of the Year. I'm joined by Jack Bamwell. Now, it did go up this week, so you have seen it, but a good chance to have a look at some of the footage and for us to discuss the selections. Now, criteria for Team of the Year. A lot of you may not know, I spoke to all 10 coaches. I really appreciate them getting back to me with their nominations. So a lot of the time, if you didn't make it, you may not have been nominated by your coach. We took into account our media medal. We put a lot of weight into that because we have multiple people watching a game. Obviously, the Keith Sims medal. And we had a little look at the internet as well for timing best players, but probably put not as much weight on that. All right, let's have a look at the team, and it's a beauty. We'll start in the forward line. From the St. Peter's Football Club, it's Scott Bedford, 8 times in the best and fairest, a beautiful transition and link man. Obviously didn't always play forward pocket. It's one of those things where the nominations are often heavily weighted to midfielders. Tried to avoid it, but Scotty Bedford, a worthy selection.
Yeah, thoroughly agreed. He's had a really good year. First season at the Spockos as well.
Yeah, him and his brother just made a big difference to that team and looked very dangerous. Do you want to guess the full forward, mate?
I'm going to say Lenny Pascoe.
Yeah, Lachlan Pascoe, 95 goals for Golden Grove, outstanding. He's got 1 game to go. Who knows if he'll get the magical ton. It's the most goals I've seen in Div 1 from memory, if I can remember in a long time. An outstanding year.
Can I give you the number on that?
Yeah.
Last time we've seen 100 goals is 2006 in Division 1.
Drew Lipster?
Yes.
Yeah. God, I'm old. Beautifully. And last one of my absolute favourites. I watched him as a junior, but he's a young man now. He kicked 14 goals this year, kicked 3 on the weekend. Xavier Transfer from Ross Trevor, the inside mid, the ball rests up forward, so he's in the forward pocket. An outstanding footballer who brings others into the game. Yeah,
agreed. Most inside 50s in the comp as well from Xav, so getting his team forward momentum. Sensational year from Xavier Transfer.
Okay, let's have a look at the half forward line, and you can't deny this man. He kicked 13 goals this year, but what an outstanding season from Josh Glenn.
Yeah, mate, absolutely sensational. He was a bit of a swingman at times, played a bit of half back as well for the Kookaburras, and as we know, he's so damaging once he gets it forward to centre. He's a massive part of the reason why Lenny Pascoe also has 95 goals.
Yeah, beautiful deliverer of the ball, often pushed up into the midfield high and was the distributor, and whilst not always in the best position, they give it to him because he was an architect by foot. An outstanding year. I heard him actually say as he walked past broadcast one day, I've got 5 pairs of these Archies. So, a great year. Centre half forward is Anthony Helbauer, 39 goals in the regular season, outstanding effort. His highest goal tally was 7 in 1 game. Could play tall, could play small, was a very hard matchup for opposition.
Yeah, another man we'll get to the next one, but Anthony Helbauer described as the Rolls Royce of the competition by Big Matty Gale. He's a star.
Yeah. And next one with 18 goals for the year, completing the half forward line. He is a superstar. It's Mal Carruthers from Spock, who was consistent all year. One of the early nominations from Mike O'Leary. Wanted to see him in this team and a deserving recipient.
Yeah, agreed. Another Rolls Royce of the competition, labelled again by Big Matty Gale. Sensational year from Malachy.
Yeah, it's not Malachy.
Yes,
beautifully done.
It took a few times from some words from the Spockos canteen, but got there in the end.
Beautiful. Time to have a look at the midfield or the centre line on the first wing from Sacred Heart. It's Hunter Window. Glenelg Premiership player. He is sublimely skilled and as fit as anyone in the competition. Has done some triathlons and stuff. And your thoughts on Hunter?
Not to mention silky smooth at ground level, the way Sacred Heart like to play. He was pivotal to their game style this season.
Yeah, a lovely young man as well. Right in the guts there in the centre, we've got Geordie O'Brien. 11 times in the best at Salisbury North, but runner-up in our media award, which we again hold a lot of weight to. He's right in the pivot there and had a great season. Yeah,
he did come home like a steam train too in the media award. Big jobber. He's an absolute beast in the middle of the ground. Inspirational leader too, not to mention for your club, mate.
Yeah, already a 3-time best and fairest winner. Probably going to be a 4th as of October 14th, I'd suggest, but who knows. And on the other wing from St. Peter's, it's Henry Nelligan. A super consistent season and a bit of a difference maker for Spockos.
Yeah, 12 or 13 times, I think, Tommy in the best players for Mike O'Leary. Another one of those recruits that really propelled Spockos up the ladder. And he's similar to Hunter Window in a way, super silky smooth at ground level, great user by foot as well.
And can roll around sort of anywhere, half forward, half back in the middle in a lot of positions. Does a great job.
Before we get on to the next line, there's a bit of actually still side bottom about Henry Nelligan because watched him a couple of times. You don't know what foot is his preferred. He'll roll onto the left, roll onto the right. He's a gun.
It's a wonderful skill to have, and I envy it. I never had it. So, all right.
I had it.
Oh, did you? I'm sure the viewers will chucked out in their stiff shizzle list, but we're going to move on. Looking at the half-back line, no surprise on the first half-back. He's silky, he's smooth, he's everything you want in a footballer. He's not really a two-sided player, but that left foot, oh, it's gorgeous. Cooper Gaffney.
Yeah, super silky left foot, but one thing I've noticed over the last few weeks as well, Tommy, seeing Port District up close and personal, he is as tough as nails and he is a gun defender as well.
Last year's grand final, he changed the game when he ran through Declan Faye-Fairley and hard as a cat's head, Nathan Grimer refers to him as, and a worthy selection. Centre half back was Darcy Best from Ross Trevor. You don't have to look any further than yesterday, the great job he did on Lenny Pascoe. He's honest, he's accountable and a very good footballer.
Yeah, sensational season from Darcy. He was actually chatting to him post-game yesterday. He's had a really good season. Surprisingly, he's not as tall as I thought as well.
No.
But so he plays a little bit undersized, but sensational year. Top 10 for intercepts in the comp. That's one of his main roles in that team is to get Ross Trevor going back the other way. And sensational year from Darcy. Yeah,
and again, I'm really pleased with the back six and the fact that we've picked 6 defenders, not rolled midfielders back into it. The other half back is someone who... Every time I watched him, it looked like he had 30 plus. He's the only recipient from PAC, but a worthy one. Former coach Craig Pitt.
Agreed. He's another Rolls Royce almost. One of the elder statesmen of PAC's team is probably fair to say. He led from the front all year long for the Princes.
Yeah, former Glenelg Tiger, and for some reason someone said he's the mayor of Roe, but I don't know what that means, but we'll move on. And full back line, making his first team of the year, a huge congratulations, and Glenunga's only recipient, Jesse Temmie. A really super consistent, outstanding year. The ball was down in Glenunga's back half a lot more than they would have used to have previously been used to.
Yep.
He's really good user by foot. What's great about Jesse as well, he's a junior who's come through the B grade and now established his A grade. Congratulations on your selection, mate. Yeah, congratulations, Jesse. Great year in the back pocket there, mate. As Tommy touched on, the ball's down there a little bit more than you would have liked, but next year there's no doubt you guys will be back up the ladder. I've heard some great whispers about what's coming out of Glenunga for 2026. Yep. Let's look at our fullback, and couldn't be anyone but Aidan Thatcher. Super consistent, just doesn't get beaten in too many one-on-ones, and he's a good footballer. Yeah, agreed. There's no other way to sum this up than this kid is an absolute gun. Should be playing Sample footy, but he just loves local footy, loves the Kookaburras, most intercept marks in the comp this year. Really, absolute star. Yep, excellent. Yep. Yeah, and again, when I've plugged in for some information, he's been forthcoming, so appreciate him connecting with us. Next one, I think he led the average possessions per game. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but Joey Haynes from Port District. Yeah, he did around about 35 touches a game. Missed the qualifying final, so I think Pitty topped him for total disposals. But yeah, when he was out there, Joey Haynes, absolute leather poisoning on that right shoe, and we'll see him back in the grand final this week. He's getting his body prepped, ready to rock and roll. Yeah, Ripper Human as well. I had a chance to have a beer with him after when Salisbury North played Port District, and and Port District, one of those teams where they all go in for a beer, which we love. Yep. And yeah, he's just great all year, and don't underestimate his influence in this Saturday's game, because he can send that ball, he takes his 10 from the square and puts it right up on the wing. It's going to be really important. Are you going to say it? Boom shakalaka. That's very good by you. It's very funny stuff. No, that's Jack Matchett only, and Jack will be back next year at Maranga, so maybe. Let's have a look at our midfield now, and interestingly enough, a stat before I give you players, it's the top 3 in the Keith Sims medal who occupy the midfield, which is great selecting, Tom Javor. Well done. Very good, mate. Very good. Yeah, I really put that together like a masterclass puzzle. Starting in ruck, I think he got 27 votes in the Sims medal. He got, Scooter Gaffney got 17 votes, so he was equal third in the media medal. Also kicked 28 goals. What a player. Sensational player, big Scooter Lyset, great bloke as well. You touched on Joey Haynes. Scotty's another one of those great blokes from Port District. Good to have a beer with post-game, and he's going to have a massive say in who is the premiership winner this Saturday. He's got the moustache, and he's actually a pool man. He comes to clean the pool. So there you go, a bit of information about Scooter. On the ball, we have James Wharton, who has impressed me. His inside, but in particular his outside run, one of the most dangerous players in the Adelaide Footy League. He was a halfback only a few years ago, Tommy. Did you know that? No, I did not. Now he's the #1 clearance player in the comp, and as you touched on, 3rd in the Keith Sims medal. Outstanding year from James Wharton, been a pleasure to watch. Yeah, transfer to Wharton was something that kept me awake at night when we blew that 37-point lead, but congratulations to Warts. And last but not least, controversy around this selection, 35 votes sees him the Keith Sims medalist. 25 votes from the media sees him riding the high five e-bike.
Yep.
It is, of course, that man, the pit bull, Jake Pittman.
I think it's his 3rd association medal. He's got
3 runner-up as well.
Yeah, 4 and could be 5. I think Golden Grove Best and Fairest awards. But yeah, the most important one I think of all is that high five e-bike player of the year. Outstanding year from Pitty. #1 tackles, I think, in the comp. #1 for score assists in the comp. Up there with the main disposal getters in the comp as well. So he is just everywhere. He is the glue guy of this Golden Grove team. And like Scotty last said, he's going to have a big say in who's holding up the Premiership Cup this Saturday afternoon. And he's the captain of this team as well. So a great year leading from the front.
Let's have a look at the interchange, Jackie boy. And first up, it's the man they call Bob, Jacob Russo from Salisbury North. He occupies the 2nd ruck duties in this team. He was outstanding all year. Missed a couple of games through injury, and Salisbury North didn't win those games. His influence couldn't be underestimated. He had a fantastic year.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself there, Tommy. He's one of the premier tap ruckmen in the comp, and I think he'll only grow once he gets over this injury over the off-season, and he will just go to another level in 2026, have no doubts about it.
Yep. Next up, the only representative from PNU, they'd be sitting there, come on, Joe, where is it? But it's Matty Nunn, former Nord captain. Now, again, people could suggest, we had a player last year put in by the league who only played 10 games. He only played 12 games, didn't he? Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
But he was outstanding. Still managed to get 8th in the media awards, which, again, we put a lot of weight on. Was nominated by his coach and did well in the Keith Sims as well. Matty Nunn's a star.
Yeah, great player, Matty Nunn. 14 votes in the media award. He's an absolute bull in there, and he was part of the reason why PNU stayed alive in Division 1.
Yep. Every club got a representative, and from Broadview, it was Tyron Hill. Tyron played at half back, and based on the record of Broadview, 0-18, without extracting the urine too much, he was busy and he had a great season. He was Jack Fergus was very quick to nominate him as their main entrant into Team of the Year.
Yeah, thoroughly deserved. One of the main drivers of halfback, trying to get some sort of score going for Broadview. Unfortunately, didn't have as many teammates coming along for the ride as he would have liked, but outstanding year from Tyron Hill.
Yeah, interesting to see how they go in Div 2. And last but not least, this one was a toss-up. Sorry, Bo McRae, but we went with Ethan Moore from Sacred Heart. An outstanding year. Every time I watch him, he just seems to get better and better. I think his ceiling is like a no Roof Ross Trevor, but a young footballer on the rise. 13
games this year, 11, potentially even 12 in the best players of those. So just absolutely crucial to what Alex Carlotto and Anthony Beamers are trying to do at Sacred Heart, and average #1 tackle player in the comp when he was available. I think it was around about 10 tackles a game, so yep. He's an absolute beast in what they're trying to do.
And when they were making their run in the elimination against Ross Trevor, he was the one that led that run.
Yep.
Now, our coach of the year is Josh Ramsey. Congratulations to Rammer. He's got Port District to a 3rd grand final in 4 years. Looking for a 3rd premiership. They tend to perform on the big stage. Perhaps you're hoping they don't, but I think he'll be the premiership coach, but he certainly is the coach of Team of the Year. Plenty of good candidates for this one, mate, but you couldn't fault Rammer for this one, could you?
Yeah, it's hard to go past Rammer. Getting into back-to-back grand finals is extremely difficult in Division 1, and if they can triumph this Saturday, it'll be something that they'll be the 2nd club to do so in the last 30 years, Tommy. Goody Saints have done it on 2 occasions. No other club's gone back-to-back in Division 1.
Yes, I was on the receiving end as Payne were up at 3/4 time in 2015, and Goody Saints did Goody Saints things and ran over the top of us. But anyway, story for another time. This has been Team of the Year. Congratulations to all of the people who've made the team. Thoroughly deserved, outstanding seasons. Now, did you have a couple of talking points, mate? Do you wanted to?
Yeah, I did have a couple of talking points. You did touch on it with Ethan Moore there. The bone crusher McRae, extremely unlucky. Yep. I thought he was outstanding for the Shockers. As a genuine winger, Ben Ianello was nominated by Mike O'Leary, but we couldn't quite squeeze him in there. But as a genuine winger,
nominated. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Tried to fit him in, and he might have even been. It took 5 drafts to get this right. He may have actually been in one of the drafts. So.
And he was massive coming across from PAC after about round 3. Yep. Yeah, crucial to what Spockos were doing. And the last one I've got here is Harrison Viney for PNU. 37 goals, it's an outstanding tally from a team that didn't score, wasn't up there for the highest scoring team in the comp, but he was influential in some of their wins. He kicked 3 goals in a 1-goal win versus PAC earlier in the year and kicked 5 against Broadview in both of those wins. So massive shout out to Harry Viney, outstanding season.
I think Harry's just got to get his consistency a little bit better. A couple of games he wouldn't have been that happy with, but he was very close as well, and he was the other nominated Payne player. So.
But yeah, as you touched on, Tommy, congratulations to all those that made the Adelaide Footy League Team of the Year, and we can't wait to do this all again in 2026.
Welcome back to Between the Posts, Adelaide Footy League fans. There's not as many games, but there is still some absolutely fantastic marks being taken in the finals. Let's have a look at this week's marks of the week.
Pascoe over the back. He's got Collins in the goal square. Drilling ball. And Collins will mark in the goal square. How good is that from Lenny Pascoe?
Yeah, that was a great pass. It was a bullet that had to travel quickly.
Adelaide Footy League fans, it's finals time. Kicking goals in finals is how you make memories. We're getting some beauties from this week's prelim final round. Let's have a look at this week's goals of the week.
Soldier Candy kicked it high up and under. It's come to ground. McKelvey there. Banwell. Snap over the left shoulder. Found McKelvey there. Banwell. Snap over the left shoulder. Instant reply, Kookaburras.
Two snaps from that part of the ground there, Bamwell has been. It was a good finish.
And it's time for the last word, brought to you by Sapol. What a great show it's been. Thanks to all our wonderful sponsors. Have you had fun, Jack?
I always have fun, and I've had extra fun that I'm with you this week, Tommy JAVOR. I'm going to personally thank you for coming back to the show. It's been nice to ride on your coattails this week.
Oh, mate, you've been outstanding since I've been gone, so you've grown like a phoenix rising from Arizona. Of course, it is time now for, the name of it is Milestones, Mini-Me and Marriages, or something along those lines. No marriages in foot. Who gets married in September during finals, just in case? No one. No hatches have popped out, but we've got a couple of milestones. I'll start with 100 games from the Walkerville Cats, Brad McCormick. Now, I spoke to their president, or he might be the ex-president, but I spoke to Fricky just to get some insight on him. Really good club man, always puts his hand up, helps out where he can, and a very passionate cat man. And he'd be absolutely thrilled that they've gone up to Division 3 this week, mate. Now, you've got one from, obviously there's not that many teams playing at the moment, but you've got one from Golden Grove.
Yeah, Daniel Mikatician, or better known as Mika, brought up 300 games on the weekend from Golden Grove. We played in a premiership together a few years ago in the twos. A great bloke, great club man. Got a young family at home as well, Tommy. So yeah, massive congratulations to you, Mika. Outstanding player, outstanding career, and hopefully you go one better this weekend in the GF.
Yeah, 300 games is a great accomplishment. Now, mate, it is a huge weekend. It's grand finals coming out the yin yang. So obviously, it's not just the A grade, it is the B and the C grade, and 7 wonderful venues hosting 7 pretty exciting grand finals.
Yeah, 21 sensational games going to be taking place. I'm definitely sure it's 21 taking place across the Adelaide Footy League. Grand final day is the best day on the calendar. It's why we grind through the winter and we can soak in the glory of the springtime on grand final day. And a massive thanks to Tim Pillion for coming in to do the Division 2 wrap, Jad for the Division 7 wrap, and his filling in of Lockie Gould and Tommy JAVOR's seat over the last few weeks. Sensational work from you, Jad. As always, our wonderful producer behind the camera, bringing you this great show each and every single week, Darcy Scharf. And John Douglas, of course, as well. A massive thank you to you, mate. And last but not least, the viewers at home for tuning in each and every single week. We can't do this without your support, your viewership, and all the positive feedback that you do give the show. Maybe some negative feedback as well, Tommy, but we love all of it. We take all of it on board.
Yeah. Where are we at the moment, mate? I get the name wrong.
We're at the Gully, but we're actually at the back. We're on House on Haynes, sensational function, entertainment space, so make sure you book in your next function here at House on Haynes. But that's all we've got time for on this week's edition of Between the Posts. Make sure you tune in next week, grand final wrap-up time. But until then, that was this week's edition of Between the Posts.